Okay, so I'm soldering the 7.2 volts now onto the other side, and it's going straight onto the fuse. Fact is, if these fuses blow, I have to unsolder them. This is the common negative on one side. I'm just tinning a wire here. Makes life a lot more simple when you do this. I tell you, when you see it all up close in the camera, it looks a darn sight worse than it does when I'm peering at it and doing it. So I've soldered that onto the other side of the fuse, and then that's going to go straight onto the boat, onto the relay. So this will be fired up as soon as I turn the and I've tinned that and soldered it and bent it into a half cup shape, just like I've done with this other one here. Makes them really strong. Oops, that moved, but it really doesn't matter. And that now goes on to the 7.2 volts. That's where I'm going to draw all my power from for this machine. Now I'm doing the same, and this is for the 4.8 volts. Just a bit of tinning on there. So again, that's nicely soldered on, so that's my 4.8 volt side. So the power is now all set up. That's pretty good. Now I'm just running this wire across, because this is going to join up the two negatives, because it's going to be obviously it's a common earth that runs across the 7.2 volts and the 4.8 volt batteries. And now I'm plugging it in, and I've got a switch on here now. Now these are the wires to the radio, and I'm just gluing them in with hot glue. As I said, it's my intention to try and keep this neat. This is the V-tail mixer, which, as you know, enables me through the rudder to control the motors, so that the motors slacken off on either side when I'm turning. It's a great system. You can get the boat to turn in its own length using this V-tail. But that's what it looks like. It's got the two three prongs on the right hand side. It's got a female out, and it's got two males. So the first one goes to that power actually means the throttle. The second one goes to the rudder. They both go to the radio. That goes to the rudder servo down the back of the boat, and they go to the two ESCs. Very simple system. So now I'm installing this, and I'm just going to hold it, I think, on top of the speed controller on this side, and it looks like everything's going to fit if I do it that way, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now it's all in place. Plus you can see I've hot glued the radio wire that's running across between the two, and all I've got to do is fix up the wires on the end. That's quite a job. And here you can see that I'm doing that. I've got my little spare set of hands here working. This is from Spark Fun, and it's a terrific system for holding wires while you glue them together. Now this is a bit of a process. I've filled these wires up with solder. The one on the back of the speed controller is really, really thick. I'm certainly not running wires that thick right through the boat. But to get them to join up is quite an interesting process. And with this one, I just don't think I've got enough solder right in the joint. Yep, great. Sprung off. But that's terrific now. If I hold that, it goes off, and that's connected. So I'm pulling the wires out now that I've connected right through the length and then through its respective hole. And once again, you've got to give it a bit of a trial. The wires in particular are particularly difficult to get in properly. That speed controller on the port side is lifted up at the front. I can stick that down again, but that looks pretty good so far. And now we have to think about the hydro.